Loma Linda, California, stands out as a blue zone not due to geography but belief. Home to a large population of Seventh-day Adventists, this community emphasizes vegetarianism, Sabbath rest, and clean living. Buettner profiles families who eat simply but consistently, oatmeal for breakfast, beans and vegetables for dinner, nuts and fruit in between. The connection between faith, food, and community is highlighted here, showcasing a different but equally powerful cultural blueprint for longevity. What distinguishes the Blue Zone's kitchen from a standard health book is its gentle, storytelling approach. Buettner never lectures. Instead, he guides the reader through the lived experiences of people who are thriving well into their 90s and beyond. He shows rather than tells, making the case for longevity through beautifully photographed food, honest conversations, and immersive cultural details. Each recipe is preceded by a short anecdote or a tip from the centenarians themselves, lending authenticity and warmth to the practical content. Recipes in the book are simple, using minimal ingredients and traditional cooking methods. From Icarian chickpea stew to Okinawan purple sweet potatoes, these dishes are not exotic for the sake of novelty, they are representative of everyday meals enjoyed by the world's healthiest people. Buettner includes shopping tips, ingredient substitutions, and methods to adapt traditional techniques to modern kitchens. There's an intentional effort to make these meals accessible to a wide audience, no matter where you live. Buettner also emphasizes that longevity isn't just about what we eat, but how. Meals in the Blue Zones are eaten with family, not in isolation. They are slow and joyful, not rushed and transactional. The physical act of preparing food, from chopping vegetables to kneading dough, is part of daily movement. The book argues persuasively that health doesn't come from obsessively counting calories or restricting carbs, but from living in alignment with nature, purpose, and community. In between recipes and profiles, Buettner sprinkles in key takeaways from scientific studies, but always ties them back to the human stories. He discusses how legumes are a common thread across all Blue Zones, and explains the benefits of fiber, resistant starches, and plant proteins. Yet the science never overshadows the soul of the book, which is about people, not data. This is one of the book's greatest strengths, it speaks to both the mind and the heart. The Blue Zone's Kitchen by Dan Buettner is far more than a cookbook, it's a cultural journey through the kitchens of the world's healthiest and longest-lived people. Buettner, a National Geographic Fellow and longevity researcher, crafts this book as a rich tapestry of travel stories, scientific insight, and authentic, time-tested recipes gathered from what he calls the Blue Zones, 5 regions across the globe where people live extraordinarily long and healthy lives. These regions include Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Icaria in Greece, and Loma Linda in California. From the beginning, Buettner roots his storytelling in human connection. He introduces us to the people behind the food, centenarians who garden every day, elders who still cook their own meals from scratch, families who gather over humble yet hearty dishes. These are not fitness fanatics or supplement gurus. They are everyday people whose lifestyles, centered around movement, social bonds, and especially food, are remarkably simple, yet remarkably effective at promoting long life and vitality. Each chapter focuses on one Blue Zone, and Buettner brings it to life through sensory-rich descriptions. In Okinawa, for instance, we meet women in their 90s making sweet potatoes and tofu stir-fries with graceful hands that have done this for decades. Buettner paints a picture of community gardens, modest kitchens, and a philosophy of hara-hachi bu, eating until you are 80% full. This mindful eating practice, paired with nutrient-dense staples like seaweed, turmeric, and bitter melon, illustrates a deep cultural reverence for balance and moderation. In Sardinia, Buettner explores the rugged, hilly terrain and its influence on the daily lives of shepherds who walk for hours and eat meals rooted in beans, barley, and wild greens. The meals here are rustic and rooted in tradition, but they are also deeply nourishing. He shares meals of minestrone soup that simmer all day and are enjoyed in communal settings, always accompanied by laughter, wine, and the presence of family. Sardinians consume very little meat, but when they do, it's often during special occasions, a cultural nuance that supports their longevity. Moving to the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, Buettner immerses readers in a tropical paradise where meals revolve around corn, beans, and squash, the Mesoamerican Three Sisters. The locals drink lime water and consume very little processed food, instead relying on what they grow and raise. The sense of purpose, or plan de vida, is palpable in the way people talk about their families and daily routines. Buettner carefully weaves this into the food narrative, showing how meals are both sustenance and ritual. In Ikaria, the Greek island where dementia and heart disease are almost non-existent, Buettner dives into Mediterranean flavors with a twist. Meals here feature wild herbs, legumes, and olive oil, with nearly every household tending a garden. There's also a quiet environmental message here. Buettner doesn't make it central, but it's woven into the narrative. Plant-based, local food isn't just good for your health, it's good for the planet. The Blue Zone diets are sustainable by necessity, they're born from scarcity, frugality, and an intimate relationship with the land. The implications for modern societies dealing with climate change and overconsumption are profound. As the book nears its end, Buettner circles back to his central idea, that we don't need to chase extreme diets or expensive supplements to be healthy. The answers may already be in our heritage, in the kitchens of our elders, in the slow traditions of food and community we've left behind. He urges readers to not only try the recipes, but to adopt the attitudes that make them meaningful: gratitude, connection, and simplicity. In the final pages, there's a sense of calm optimism. Buettner doesn't promise eternal youth, but he does offer a model for a life that is full of flavor, meaning, and health. The Blue Zone's lifestyle is not an elite wellness trend, it's an invitation to rediscover joy in the essentials. With each dish and each story, the Blue Zone's kitchen invites readers to eat not just to live longer, but to live better.